Hello, welcome back to my channel, Checks, Captures, Threats. Today's episode 62 of the Chess Guide, will be going over an example game between Nigel Short and Vishy Anand. So, this was in the London Classic, all the way back in like 2010. So, we're going over any sort of game here, trying to teach you stuff. So, today, we have got a good game here, where Vishy Anand, as you can see on the right hand side of your screen, with a 96.5% accuracy compared to Nigel Short's 86.2%. And this will reflect with the 7 extra great moves that Vishy Anand has. So, we're going through this game. There is a lot of ups and downs here, so especially as we can see, 2 blunders for white. So, starts off with e4. So, this could be going into anything here. Now, Vishy Anand immediately decides to play into the Sicilian. So, we haven't gone over this too much yet in the learning openings. We will be soon. But, it's a very, very hefty amount of theory in this opening. So, knight c3 played, followed by d6. Now, f4 played. Now, this is taking the King's Gambit-like style, obviously without the e5 push here. Now, obviously, the issue with this, in my opinion, is it limits this king access hugely. So when you castle, it's going to be quite difficult to maintain that sort of development into keeping that king safe. So, knight c6 played, nice little cushion for it to sit there. Knight f3 obviously there. Now g6, now this is what we call the Vishy Anand is doing, it's called the Sicilian dragon. So in a minute you're going to see a dragon like style. So we just play a few moves, and now there is some way that they say that this looks kind of like a dragon. Yeah, I don't know really how to see it, but they give openings for some very different names. So, queen to e1 played here. Now, this is used a lot in a Grand Prix style thing. Now, what you do here is you play to e1, and then now he's going to be playing queen h4 probably very shortly. So, castling, again, very good position for each. A very obvious move, d3, trying to get its bishop out now, protecting the f4 pawn. Now, e6 is followed here. I would say it blocks the bishop in here, but obviously he's looking long term, as this is a classical game, I believe. So, very just looking straight for that later stage where he can probably use that bishop in the endgame. So the king moves, just getting off the line of that G thing, of the G file here, so it doesn't get anything with the F pawn here. Now, obviously, what we see with this B6 move here is that he's going to try and Frenchetto this, probably even up to A6, cause some sort of threat here, but instead he does go to B7. Not the best move. They're saying to reroute the knight for development of the positional play, trying to get it all the way this sort of thing, but it just doesn't work. Queen h4 now played, as we said. Now, knight to e8 has been played now, so queen to h3, and a big move here already, knight to d4. So, after these captures, now, as you see, both knights here now, already on the edge now, and it's not looking the best. So, f5 played. Now, big move here, as this is causing a lot of pain in this centre now. If we have a look, this pawn now attacking this e4 pawn. We've also got the bishop here, so that's already 2, so they've got to do something here. But also, you've got to look at the other side, this bishop now. So you see, these bishops are really putting pressure on each side. Plus this queen with a very nice line, can always go there. And this rook even, and then the knight can also come out. Now, the issue here with white's position, as this is what we'll show later, is it's just crammed. This bishop not really got that many squares. This bishop's really got none. And then this knight has actually only at the minute got this square. So very limited to the positions here that each of these minor pieces have. So, c4 now played. Now, this is not the best move here, as en passant is now here. And after they take with the knight, the queen now moves. No exchanges happening yet. Nothing going on here. There is a free pawn nearly on the taking, but obviously this knight has now done that. So, rook to e1 here. Not the best move again. They're thinking about pushing on the queen side. But if we have a look at the pawn structures on each side, almost looks like here for black that we should be attacking the queen side here. But honestly, at this point, we're seeing how these bishops are. It's just a matter of attacking the centre, really. Yes, you've got a queen that can also go for the queen side, but it's just not the best, I would say, in this scenario just yet. So knight c7 played, obviously developing the knight out to help this bishop as well, so it can help with the protection. Now, bishop to f3 played. It's alright, obviously protecting this pawn. Now we've got 4 pieces here. It's hugely defended now, and it's also putting pressure on this bishop now. As so, rook to b8 obviously defends it. Now they're dead even here if we see. So it's still kind of in that dead even sort of bit. 0.3 to black. It's not really that different here as there's a few captures going on now as they start trying everything. Not the best rook I would say in this position, but it can stop any threats along here. Now queen to f3 played a very good move as he attacking it. And then a very nice move, d5, pushing a pawn into the centre while deflecting off that attack on the rook. So, rook f2 played here, looking to double up. Didn't do it the other way, which obviously you can. Don't think there was too much of a difference here, but he wants to do it this way. So, obviously rook goes back to b8. Not the best square for it. I think he's going to try and go to here, try and double it up. As a few moves later here, we've got a double up here on for white. And again, this rook has now pushed, so almost changing the way the rooks are for black. a3 played. Now, I would say this is not a good move. Obviously, you're looking at stuff like this happening. I think it's just a bit too late to do this at the minute, and it's not the right timing. As a very nice move of d4, really attacking, putting this bishop into a really bad spot, obviously attacking the knight as well. The only thing I would say is this does limit the use of this bishop, but obviously, again, now, look at that knight. Again, only has this square to go to. And a very nice move of queen d5. So the queen has to move away to g3. So it's going to move its rook back. You're going to see a load of these positional-like moves for each side. It's because it's a classical game. They're going to be doing this. So h4 played. A very good move. I think you should have done that earlier. And should start getting the knights out. Now here, there's a huge rook trade looking here. But h5 played instead. A very good move. Trying to get back the advantage that he's lost as white. Now, after this capture, white is actually winning here as he finds the great move rook to e7 here, not taking. So obviously the great move you have to take. It's the only one that gets rid of the rook. And after this, now you've got a very nice move here. Knight to e6. Now this does a few things. Obviously protects this major threat going on here with checkmate. Plus it completely blocks this rook off. It's sacrificing this pawn though. So as it takes now, it's dead even as the king moves out the way a little bit. Stop the pin happening. Now this knight's coming into play. It's going to try and get its way up to here and then all the way up to like this sort of scenario. Now bishop to f6. Another great move. And you're going to see a load of great moves for blacks now. So the knight comes in. Now h4. An even better move here. Showing, you know, that this queen has no access now. So it's going to have to move away as it goes to f2. Now h6, not the best move. That loses a lot. And surprisingly, this is the big move here. Now, obviously, if we was to take here, there is some, you know, what white's doing here is he's trying to confuse Vishy. You know, there's some sort of thing here. If you do take, there is absolute chaos on the board. So this would be a miss. It is even, but, you know, after these captures, you know, you have got this rook open. And I think Nigel's trying to hope for some unlucky play. And I don't think he got there. But an even better move, so he does take swapping with the knight, so he's just doing a normal swap off here. But after all these captures, as we have a look at the pawn structure, it's still protecting the king, surprisingly. And I'll be honest, right now, this bishop's not doing anything, but neither is the rook. So he's going to try and keep going, though, as white. And he's going to keep trying to take, but it just isn't working. As we see here, two big blunders. As, again, if we take here, it's just a free bishop. It's nothing at all wrong with it. And he's just, all that white was trying to do here is he's just trying to get rid of that complete threat. And trying to magically try and win this pawn maybe. Or he's trying to get over to here now. As queen to d6, another great move. Stops this check. As now the queen comes to h6. A very good move. And when the queen comes back now, rook to c8, getting that open file. Sacrificing this pawn, which we was 4 points up as black. But now it is a forced mate in 4. Rook comes to c1 check. King moves up to h2. The queen gives a solid check onto d6. And after the king moves, it is checkmate. So we finally see checkmate on the board. No resigning or anything. So that is the game. What we see here is obviously you got to think with your sacrifices. It didn't work. He was playing a bit of hope play, we could say, where he was just trying to get luck out of it. You know, cheese his way through it. Didn't work in the end for Nigel Short. And in the end, he does lose. Hopefully enjoyed this little example game we went over. Just trying to show here how, you know, that centre was really the big aspect here of playing, you know, trying with the flanked bishops here on Franchettos. So it kind of worked for black as we see here. But, you know, it's a little bit of a messy endgame. But Vishy Anand proving that why he has been a grandmaster for many years. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. So thank you and bye bye.